Cars are often judged by numbers: 0 to 60, horsepower, top speed. But the most important cars in history didn't just go fast, they spoke. Through curves and edges, through proportions and surfaces. Through ideas so radical, they rewrote how cars were drawn forever. This is not a list of best sellers, not a ranking of lap times. This is the story of cars that changed design language forever. Cars are more than machines. They are expressions of ideas, of vision, of culture. Every curve, every line, every proportion is a word in a language that communicates power, elegance, or emotion without speaking. For most of history, cars were functional first. Straight lines, separate fenders, simple boxes on wheels. But some vehicles transcended function. They became statements. They taught us to see a car not just as transportation, but as art and philosophy in motion. In 1955, the world wasn't ready for the Citroën DS. Parked among boxy sedans, it looked like it had arrived from another decade or another planet. Its body flowed like liquid. Its wheels disappeared beneath sculpted arches. This wasn't decoration. It was aerodynamics, comfort, and futurism expressed through form. Even the smallest details, like the headlamps and bumpers, were integrated into the overall form. It wasn't just futuristic, it was intelligent, an elegant solution to design and aerodynamics that no one else dared attempt. Inside, the DS continued its philosophy: a single-spoke steering wheel, innovative controls, and a cabin designed for comfort and visibility reflected an idea. Design could think. It could anticipate how humans interacted with machines. The DS proved that a car didn't need aggression to look advanced. It introduced elegance as a form of innovation. And design would never return to being purely mechanical again. Meanwhile, in Germany, Mercedes-Benz was creating a different kind of statement. The 300 SL Gullwing combined engineering brilliance with visual drama. Its tubular frame required doors to open upward, and what was born from necessity became an icon. The long hood stretched forward, suggesting restrained power. The cabin was compact, yet purposeful. If the DS was poetry, the 300 SL was theater. Born from racing, shaped by necessity. Its iconic gull-wing doors weren't a styling choice. They were an engineering solution to a tubular space frame. But that solution became a symbol. The long hood, the precise curves, the purposeful stance, everything about the 300 SL communicated intent. It taught the world a new idea. Engineering itself could become beauty. Every surface was intentional, a balance between aerodynamic need and aesthetic harmony. The 300 SL taught the world that engineering could be beautiful, that honesty in design could become a visual language of its own. Italy, too, was rewriting the rules. The Lamborghini Miura arrived with a radical concept: mid-engine placement. The cabin shifted forward, the body dropped lower, and the stance became planted and wide. Every curve, every fender bulge, every vent wasn't decoration, it was a direct expression of the car's performance. The Miura introduced a proportion that would define the modern supercar: low, sleek, and aggressive, yet undeniably beautiful. Designers everywhere took note. This car showed that performance and beauty could be inseparable. Before the Miura, performance cars followed tradition: engine in front, power behind elegance. The Miura shattered that logic. With its mid-engine layout and cab-forward proportions, it created a silhouette no one had ever seen before: low, wide, sensual. The Miura didn't just invent the supercar, it invented supercar proportion, a design formula still followed today. The Countach, arriving a decade later, rejected subtlety entirely. Sharp edges replaced curves, a wedge-shaped profile and scissor doors demanded attention. Its stance was confrontational, almost theatrical. Every crease, every flat plane screamed intent. The Countach didn't ask for admiration, it demanded it. And it changed the conversation. Design could be daring, even shocking, and still influence generations. It was aggressive, audacious, and fearless, a blueprint for visual rebellion. If the Miura whispered, the Countach screamed. Flat surfaces, sharp angles, a stance that looked more like a weapon than a car. The Countach rejected curves entirely. It embraced the wedge, the scissor door, the extreme. It didn't care about elegance, it cared about impact. And in doing so, it taught designers that emotion could come from aggression, not just beauty. In contrast, the Porsche 911 showed the power of evolution over reinvention. The 911's rear-engine layout, round headlights, and sloping roofline persisted through decades. Each generation refined surfaces, widened fenders, and integrated technology seamlessly, but the identity remained. The 911 demonstrated that longevity is not about following trends, but about clarity of purpose. Through subtle refinement, it taught the design world that discipline could create beauty that lasts generations. Most cars are redesigned every generation. The Porsche 911 evolved. Over decades, its silhouette remained instantly recognizable. Rear engine, sloping roofline, round headlights. Subtle changes, relentless refinement. The 911 proved that design doesn't need reinvention to stay relevant. Sometimes the boldest choice is consistency. Then came the Honda NSX, a quiet revolution. Rather than extremity, it prioritized balance, human experience, and precision. Visibility, ergonomics, and proportion guided every decision. Its roofline, mid-engine placement, and smooth surfaces reflected a philosophy: a supercar could be approachable without losing performance. Even small details like pop-up headlamps and rear louvers were designed with purpose. The NSX taught the world that intelligence in design can be revolutionary, that elegance and usability are just as powerful as drama. The NSX arrived quietly. No dramatic doors, no visual excess. Instead, it focused on balance, visibility, ergonomics, precision. Designed with input from Formula One engineering, the NSX redefined what a supercar could be. It proved that usability and performance weren't enemies, and that intelligent design could be just as revolutionary as extreme styling. Finally, the Ferrari 458 Italia ushered in a new era. By the late 2000s, design was guided not only by intuition, but by computation. Every panel, every vent, every curve was sculpted digitally, informed by aerodynamics as much as aesthetics. The 458 surfaces flow seamlessly, functional elements integrated so naturally that performance and beauty became indistinguishable. Here, emotion and data merged, producing a car that was both precise and profoundly expressive. It represents the pinnacle of automotive design as a fully realized language, functional, emotional, and timeless. Across these decades and continents, a pattern emerges. Cars are more than transportation. They are statements of culture, philosophy, and innovation. They move not just bodies, but ideas. Each one shaped the language of design: curves that whisper, wedges that shout, proportions that endure. Some shock, some soothe, some demand reflection, but all influence the way designers see the world. Speed fades, technology becomes obsolete, records are broken, but design endures. It shapes the imagination of generations, inspiring engineers, artists, and dreamers. And so, when you look at a car today, consider more than its engine or its speed. Look at its lines, its proportions, the way light dances across its surfaces. Consider the ideas it carries, the history it represents, the designers it influenced. Design is not fleeting. It is the language that endures. If this journey through automotive design inspired you, support the channel by liking this video, sharing it with someone who loves cars, and subscribing for more stories where engineering meets art. Because the language of design never stops evolving, and these cars are its vocabulary, spoken loud, clear, and unforgettable.